Welcome to Cybersecurity Awareness TV, episode number 469, recorded January 17th, 2025. Join me, Professor Mac Jackson Jr., as we navigate the digital landscape. Gear up for a thrilling ride through the digital cybersecurity tips, news, and gain expert knowledge. Become a cyber champion. Remember, folks, subscribe, like, and stay ahead of the digital fences. If you'd like to find out more about my show and my service as a cybersecurity professional, you can find me on MacJacksonJR.com. That's MacJacksonJR.com for more information. In today's episode, we're going to hit it pretty heavily here, folks. We're going to talk about the LA fires. And what I also want to just take a quick second or so to give blessings and praises out there for everyone and wish them health and to recover from this amazing disaster that's going on out there. In this episode, we're going to talk about the scammers and fraudsters, folks. Yes, there are scammer and fraudsters that are trying to take advantage of the citizenry out there regarding the LA fires, including from insurance companies to scammers, from donations and alike. And in our second segment, we're going to talk about the clock is counting down. TikTok is going to be banned, folks, by the 19th of January, unless federal regulators change their minds, right, folks? So, well, how does that impact you? We'll discuss that as well. But first, folks, the scammers and fraudsters that are exploiting the citizenry in LA from the LA fires. As the recent fires in LA, Los Angeles, has a disastrous effect on the community, it is unfortunately common to see the increase of scammers and fraudsters that are active in preying on the people in this area and being very, very vulnerable due to this disaster efforts. Scammers have been targeting firing victims with various varieties of insurance fraud, creating fake GoFundMe accounts and fake donation accounts, folks, as well. These fraudsters often use the emotional manipulation to exploit the public's sympathy, and the way to get people to donate and give monies that they don't have, and they need to be able to help themselves out of this terrific time of disaster here. And the criminals looking to take advantage of that. We talk a lot about that on our show, about how scammers and fraudsters always look for ways to manipulate victims and individuals. Individuals have, sometimes been caught up in these fake insurance claims on their property for property damages. Fraudsters are active in depriving legitimate claims from victims, and the underlining their ways to get resources to help them. As a cybersecurity professional, we urge that people stay vigilant for donations that are asking for their monies. Always verify, trust but verify every call that you get asking for a GoFundMe campaign or some sort of charity or organizations saying that they're going to support you or wanting to support you. Make sure you check them out thoroughly beforehand. We have this news story here that we'd like to share with you regarding this, coming to us from Los Angeles, from ABC News.
Well, dozens of people have been arrested in the wake of the California wildfires. Criminals are trying to capitalize on the crisis by taking from the vulnerable, looting damaged homes, scamming evacuees, putting a surcharge on housing or essential goods. LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman is joining us live right now to discuss the protections being put into place. Mr. Hochman, thank you so much for being with us. Firstly, how concerned are you about the level of criminal activity in the aftermath of these fires?
The level of criminal activity is quite candidly despicable. We have firefighters literally putting their lives on the line every day to save lives in our homes. We have law enforcement working 24 hours a day to keep us safe and secure. I am one of over 200,000 people who've cooperated in this evacuation. People like my sister lost their home in Pacific Palisades, and thousands of people have lost their homes. Yet there are criminals who look at this as an opportunity to exploit the most vulnerable people in their lowest moments. We have sent an unmistakably clear message that these people, it's a question of just when, not if, they will get arrested, they will get prosecuted, and they will be punished to the full extent of the law. Yesterday, we announced the charges on 9 looters and 1 person who did an arson in Azusa. These looters were involved in the Pacific Palisades and the Eaton fires. They basically were people who went into these these residences when the residences were evacuated, yet the police were able to catch them. 2 of these people are looking at life in prison because they're 3 strikers. Another person's looking at 22 years in prison as a second striker. The arsonist is looking up to 9 years in prison, and the other people who went in illegally into these houses, they're looking at 6 years in prison. We're going to throw the book at these looters, these defrauders, these scammers, and this is the warning shot. I'm hoping that they heed this warning and don't commit this crime, but please know that if they do, justice will be swift and it will be significant.
Mr. Hochman, one of the arrests that was made from the Woodland Hills was of a man who reportedly was using a blowtorch to start a fire. This person was arrested, held for a felony probation violation. He is said to be in the country illegally. What can you tell us about that and the possibility of the sanctuary city law coming into play in this case?
So again, if someone commits a crime here in Los Angeles County, especially during these fires, they will be held fully accountable. What happens to their immigration status afterwards will be a separate discussion. But the message is not just to anyone out there who might be documented or undocumented, it's to any potential criminal out there. This is not the time to be committing criminal activity in Los Angeles County. You will be held fully accountable for your actions.
We are starting to see the ATF involved, and there are lawsuits concerning the Eaton fire. Talk to us about the investigations that you are specifically looking into, whether that be arson, electrical equipment, or anything else.
So a Los Angeles Regional Task Force has been set up to determine the cause and origin of the fires. They are bringing in some of the most expert ATF specialists from across the country who have basically, in fires across this country, they bring in this team to determine the cause and the origin. Right now, however, the firefighters' #1 priority is putting out the fires. Law enforcement is keeping it safe and getting it stabilized. So what I anticipated, that this type of analysis is going to probably take weeks, sometimes months to determine, but it will be done. And at the end of the day, we'll know what set off each one of these fires. If it was man-made and it was intentional, which is arson, we'll go after the arsonist with the full fury of justice behind us.
Mr. Hochman, what wildfire scams is your office tracking right now, whether it be contractors, insurance adjusters, car towing?
And all the above. It's very sad. We're looking at every type of service that's being provided to people who've evacuated or who've lost their homes. People should know that if you raise your rates more than 10% above what you had it before the wildfires, that is price gouging. It's both a crime, which will be prosecuted. You can be civilly charged and as well. And quite candidly, if your name or your company's name comes out, you will be shamed. Because how embarrassing, how disgraceful it would be that you are taking advantage of people at their lowest moments. We've also seen internet scams. People who want to donate very generously are being targeted by scammers. So for instance, fake GoFundMe sites have been set up. If you go to GoFundMe itself, it's got all the protections necessary to make sure that your dollars will go to where the dollars should go. But people have set up fake GoFundMe sites. So I tell people, be very careful when you want to give money, particularly over the internet, that you know the organization you're giving it to, that the links are secure, that you are not being pressured in any way to give out that information. Please never give out your social security number. Do not give out any personal identifiers to anyone that you don't know very well or an organization that you have checked out. We're also seeing this with insurance. Now we have insurance scams that are up and running. And when the money starts coming in from the federal government and the state government, and I mean billions of dollars for this recovery, we're going to see an enormous amount of fraud because people look at this, criminals look at this as an opportunity. That's where I come in. That's where the DA's office comes in, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the City Attorney's Office. We have over 1,000 prosecutors collectively to go after these criminals, and we will.
So folks, as you can see, for businesses, individuals, to keep their personal information secure and promptly reporting any types of fraud that they have noticed or being aware of to the federal and local authorities. And this is a way to ensure that they can protect their personal information. In a time of crisis, folks, we must stay vigilant and stay prepared, do our due diligence to avoid this type of attacks. So I have come up with a list of 5 things that we could do, 5 ways to protect yourself from these type of fires. And from our LA citizenry victims out there in LA and California, these are 5 ways that I've prepared for you. One of the was the verified charity organizations. I talked about this before. Make sure that you verify any charity organization and anyone in our country too, because you may have people that are from other states that are looking to give money and give resources support into California, but scammers will go after them as well. So even people outside of the state of California, make sure you verify the charity donations before you send any information or money to them. As a matter of fact, if you like to make a charity donation, you can check out sources like the Red Cross and others, ones that are known to help victims in this time of emergency. Avoid unsolicited requests, right? Avoid unsolicited emails, text messages, and social media posts that you will get from so-called donation sites wanting your assistance. Fraudsters would like to, and they do often, impersonate relief organizations to gather funds. Third, check the security payment methods. In other words, folks, if you're online and you're doing a payment to a donation charity, make sure that the URL in the address bar has a HTTPS, and for secure, make sure it's a secure website, folks, that you are donating to. Definitely check it before you click it. Fourth, report suspicious activity. If you encounter any sort of behavior that looks fraudulent, such as insurance claim or a fake relief fund, report to law enforcement, report to local authorities, better yet, Better Business Bureau and the Federal Trade Commission. And fifth, protect your personal information. Be mindful of sharing your personal and financial information with fraudsters that may impersonate recovery agencies and steal your data, and and can provide a way of doing identity theft with your personal information, right? This is definitely something you need to be very, very cautious of. Always verify the identity of anybody that have called you. Matter of fact, it's best if someone calls you stating they're from an authority, do your due diligence, vet it, and call them back with the number that you have verified versus taking a phone call coming in from you directly. These are just some of the things, folks, that we talk about here at our show, Cybersecurity Awareness TV, because criminals and scammers, fraudsters are always looking for ways to exploit you from your personal information and your funds. We must stay vigilant, folks. We'll be back after these messages. Hello, folks. This is Mac Jackson Jr. from Vanderson Cyber Group. The problem with businesses today is that they are affected by cyber attacks from around the world, but companies are not sure of what to do. Normally, they are reactive instead of proactive. But folks, cyber attacks can affect your bottom line and will affect you financially, legally, and your business reputation. Here at Vanderson Cyber Group, we can help you develop a policy by training your employees on what to do if they are involved in a cyber attack and how to mitigate it and fight against it. Folks, we call it here #StayCyberWoke. And that's Vanderson Cyber Group here in Las Vegas and around the world. You can reach me, folks, at VandersonCyberGroup.com or my website, MacJacksonJr.com as well. Here locally, 702-868-0808. Give us a call today, folks. We must fight back. Hi, folks. Welcome back to Cybersecurity Awareness TV. I'm your host, Mac Jackson Jr. In this segment, we're talking about the clock is counting down and ticking down for the app called TikTok. As you know, folks, TikTok has been banned. We discussed that on our show here about 8 months ago, of the possible banning of TikTok. TikTok has quickly become the #1 most popular social media platform globally, folks. particularly among the younger audience. And boy, I've got a lot of emails and text messages from a younger audience stating that they do not want to see TikTok going away. With its short form videos format, TikTok has capsulated the users by offering a wide range of contents of various dances and comedic skits and educational videos for influencers in their promotions. Its algorithms drives the users to engage in key players of the entertainment industry and, of course, marketing space. However, TikTok is facing a mounting scrutiny, particularly regarding the privacy and national security concerns that our government has deemed that the software and app is a violation of U.S. national security. And this is why, folks, because it has been proven now that the app TikTok that resides on your smart device actually listens and talks to other apps on your phone, and information gathered has been known to send disinformation to nation states such as China. And we in our country don't want that, of course. You want to maintain our freedom. So it has been proposed now that TikTok is to be purchased by a U.S. company. And then we need to also vet the U.S. company, making sure that they're not gathering our personal data as well. We don't want our data shared or scrutinized by any country or private business with what we're doing and our personal information. So every company needs to be vetted, folks. But despite these challenges, TikTok continues to have millions of active users, especially among Gen Z, who have drawn to it in a fast-paced content. Many businesses also use its platforms for marketing products and engaging young consumers. And there's also talk of these consumers now and TikTok users going to other apps. And we'll talk about those apps too, such as Red Note and one called Lemon8 and others. But again, who owns these other apps? We're understanding that they have some Chinese connections to their government as well. More on this needs to be investigated. We have till the 19th. We'll see what our government's going to do. Will it be a stay of this ban, or will they be banned on January 8th? But to continue the story, let's take a look at a story of the story coming to us from CNN.
Major developments overnight in the future of TikTok. Remember, a ban is set to take effect Sunday as part of a bipartisan law passed by Congress, signed by President Biden, over concerns of Chinese influence over the app. So the ban is Sunday, but the New York Times is reporting that TikTok CEO has been invited to Donald Trump's inauguration on Monday. Add to that, CNN has learned that President-elect Trump is looking into possible stopgap measures to keep TikTok from shutting down. All right, CNN's Claire Duffy is here. So much uncertainty.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really the bottom line here is we're 3 days away from this ban, and we still don't know what's going to happen here, if it's really going away or not. We still don't know how the Supreme Court is going to rule. We're now hearing that Donald Trump is trying to take some action potentially to delay the ban going into effect, although, as you said, it's set to go into effect the day before the inauguration. And what that means really for users of this platform is they are feeling a lot of this uncertainty. If you are a creator who makes a livelihood on this app, or even a user who spends hours a day, as many people do, scrolling on this platform, those folks are already seeking out alternatives. And we're seeing some of those alternatives surge in popularity this week. The biggest one is a platform called Red Note, which is actually a Chinese app. It looks a lot like TikTok. And what's really interesting is we're seeing a lot of American TikTok users flocking to this app and Chinese users welcoming them, offering Mandarin lessons, offering them information about how to use the platform. I pulled up a good example of this to show you.
Dear TikTok refugees, welcome to Xiaohongshu. I know you probably don't understand Chinese, but there are 5 tips to help you make the most of this app. First, it's all about lifestyle. You can always find a better way to live and most comprehensive guide to everything.
It's kind of a hilarious cultural exchange that's happening, and many American users are there expressing frustration about the U.S. government and essentially saying, if you're going to take away our TikTok, we're going to go find another Chinese platform that we can use. So that's been a really interesting dynamic that we're seeing. Another app that's really gained popularity is Lemon8, which is owned by TikTok parent company ByteDance. The company started pushing it in the U.S. when talks of a ban really started bubbling up, and that's another platform that's really gaining. Those two platforms could still face the same same sort of ban that TikTok is facing under this law. And experts told me that sort of gets at the challenge, this whack-a-mole challenge that the U.S. government has in trying to avoid Chinese influence over popular social platforms.
Look, those would certainly be twists, that's for sure. Again, if the CEO of TikTok is really coming to the inauguration on Monday, it's hard to imagine Donald Trump doesn't want to find a way to save it or won't do something. Claire Duffy, thank you very much for that.
In just 3 days, the U.S. ban of TikTok is set to take effect, impacting 170 million users here in the United States. And sources tell CNN that the president-elect, Donald Trump, is now looking at, debating, considering, looking at the options to push that off, at least for a time, and keep the platform up and running while they look for and try to find a U.S. buyer. CNN's Harry Enton is running the numbers, not on the chances that Donald Trump will do it.
I have no idea.
But on just how big of a force TikTok really has become in this country. So how popular is TikTok?
Yeah, the idea that I can get into Donald Trump's head and know what he was doing on any particular moment, to me, is just something that is out of my wheelhouse.
Moving on.
Age 13 to 17, basically teenagers. I don't know if you have any teenage members of your family, Kate Baldwin, but if you ever look at their phone, they seem to be addicted to it, and they're scrolling through. What are they scrolling through? They're scrolling through TikTok. I mean, my goodness gracious, 2/3 of teenagers use TikTok. It is more popular than Instagram, more popular than Snapchat. Facebook's for old fuddy-duddies like myself. Just 32% of teenagers use Facebook, and Twitter, X, which is my favorite platform, to be all honest, just 17%. And it's not just that they love TikTok. Teenagers are addicted to TikTok. TikTok's got a hold of them. 50% of teenagers use TikTok several times a day. So if TikTok went adios amigos, this would have a major impact on the daily lives of teenagers, at least in your life.
So this is 13 to 17-year-olds. How about everyone else?
Yeah, how about everyone else? So, you know, I myself have a TikTok account, but I don't really quite understand it. I guess I'm becoming an old fuddy-duddy. Adults who use TikTok, but even here, it's been a massive rise. So you go back to 2019, you can see it was just 3%. Now look at this. It's up to 32%. That's up nearly 30 points in just a 5-year span. Yes, Facebook is a little bit more, yes, Facebook is number one, Instagram being number two, but it's really the rise of TikTok. It's really younger folks. Again, those under the age of 30 who use TikTok. There was a reason why Trump went and campaigned with those influencers. It's because to get younger voters, to get younger folks on social media, you don't go to Facebook, you go to TikTok, and the bottom line is TikTok has become a massive force in this country, and only one that has become considerably more popular as time has gone on.
Okay, so if it is so popular,
yes,
and it goes away,
yes,
where do people go?
Yeah, okay. So, you know, as I said, TikTok has a massive hold on teenagers. TikTok has an increasingly strong hold on adults, but that doesn't mean that people who use TikTok only use TikTok. So who TikTok users, where else could they potentially go? TikTok users who also use, look, they're going to get their fix somewhere else, because take a look at this. 74% of TikTok users also use Instagram. You know, you can go on Instagram. I do have an Instagram account, Forecaster Enter, in case you're wondering. Or you can go over to YouTube. Think YouTube Shorts. 95% of TikTok users also use YouTube. So look, they'll get their fix somewhere else, but it will still be a massive disruption in their lives, especially younger folks.
Let me ask you both about something else that has been a bipartisan issue here in Washington, which is TikTok, which Congress voted overwhelmingly in bipartisan fashion to ban the app. It's set to go in effect on Sunday. Congressman Nunn, we're hearing some reports that President Trump may be thinking about an executive order that would delay the sale. There is a provision of the law that allows that for 90 days. Do you think he should do that?
Well, I think, first of all, let's look at the House lid on this, passed it, the Senate approved it, and the president signed into law. The Supreme Court's upheld it. Now, this isn't a ban of...
The court may still weigh in, but yes.
Yeah, with TikTok on this...
We expect it to be.
Yeah, exactly right. Mm-hmm. The TikTok on this is an app, and ByteDance, the parent company, is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Chinese. And we have seen for the last 6 months, Chinese through Volt Typhoon, Silk Typhoon, Salt Typhoon, coming in and pillaging the United States. So we know the Chinese are incentivized to do this. I think that it's right from a national security side to divest from China being able to have its largest propaganda source right here in the United States. President Trump coming in, we've got a lot of deadlines coming up this Sunday, Casey, and I think it's important that we're clear with the American people. There's a new top cop in town, and he's going to have a lot of influence here on getting the Chinese to divest. In the same tone, TikTok, the app, has an opportunity here to become an American company, and I think that ultimately their CEO may be joining the inauguration this week to have those direct conversations with leaders right here in Washington.
Congressman Landsman, do you see any upside to delaying this for 90 days? Should President Biden consider doing that before he leaves office? Should Donald Trump use this executive order if he doesn't?
I don't know. I mean, quite frankly, Zach's right. The point is keep the app and get the company to disinvest from China. They just got to get out of China because at the moment, because it is a Chinese-based company, China, who is a foreign adversary, they are at any time in a position to weaponize all of our data. And we're putting Americans at risk and our national security at risk. And so, if they can get this thing sold, that would be the best of both worlds. But, whether there's a delay or not, what we passed was the right decision.
Quick last word, Congressman?
I think this is a bold world. Look, if China wants to continue to play in this area and refuses to allow it to sell, I feel highly confident that there'll be another app that will immediately spring up in its place. We just talked about our kids. This is the generation where brand loyalty is not there. They're going to go to something that they need.
I asked my kids before the vote, I said, hey, I'm going to vote on this. Curious, do you care?
Yeah.
Focus group of 2. The answer was like, no, they're both in their phones in the back of the car. And I was like, why? And they're like, something else will come up.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right.
All right. Well, it's nice to have some bipartisan breaking out on the set on all of the issues we have talked about today.
Dan's in agreement.
Right.
Congressman, thanks to both of you for joining us. I hope you'll come back soon.
Appreciate it.
So, folks, in response to the TikTok ban discussions of alternative platforms, that is, like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, and RedNote, are rising in popularity. Instagram Reels offer a similar video type of format, right, that are used. But again, the Gen Zs and Gen Xs would like to use other ones like TikTok. YouTube Shorts is another strong contender, and it's also looking to leverage its format by offering that is short videos to their users as well. And now this new app called RedNote is a new platform that is offering a variety of different aspects for content creators looking for an alternative to TikTok. Folks, we have to see what's going to happen with this, and definitely stay tuned and informed. But again, it's important that we look at both aspects of it. We're looking at your personal private data and information. There are people that are upset that our government's looking to ban TikTok, but they're stating that, hey, other companies here in the US do the same thing. So why just jump on TikTok? Whoa, there's a bigger picture, folks. I really would like to have all of us look at the bigger picture. It's your personal identifiable information, not just with our nation states having this data on their servers about you. It's our local government and corporations of the US as well having your personal data also. We must make sure that none of this information is being exploited about individuals' citizenry privacy. We must keep that in mind, folks. It's about your privacy and your information. We must keep it private. We'll be back after these messages.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Ati Hakimi. I'm a family medicine physician with Vegas Direct Primary Care. Vegas Direct Primary Care is a flat fee healthcare membership, kind of like Netflix. You pay once a month and I am there for you. I've been practicing medicine for 20 years. I went to school at Northwestern in a little city called Chicago, and I have finally found my calling. Direct primary care literally means you have a direct relationship with me. So when you call, it's me. When you text, it's me. When you see me, it is me. I have decided to make this type of healthcare available to everyone. As a family physician, I was made to be a part of your family. And so with the advent of the sick care model that we practice in this country, I have taken the onus to start this practice to be available for people so that I can hold you accountable for taking care of yourselves. People have to realize the body is a very fine-tuned instrument. It can heal itself. All you need is guidance and you need resources, and that's what I'm here for. So not only do I act as your healthcare advocate, your healthcare coach, I'm also a physician. So when things start to go a little awry, we can still rely on Western medicine. which is what I went to medical school for 12 years. So Vegas Direct Primary Care is an option in healthcare to have a direct relationship with your physician. Now, the difference between direct primary care guys and concierge is usually concierge is a little bit of a double dip. They will take money up front. They'll still bill your insurance. Direct primary care means you pay once a month and that is it. I take over from there. Perks of direct primary care is that if your insurance does not play nice, we don't got to deal with these guys. So labs, we can do an entire panel for maybe $70 from A to Z, vitamins, all kinds of fun stuff. And I can do imaging maybe the next day. I can do x-rays, 25 bucks, CT scans, less than 200, MRIs, less than 400. And in the state of Nevada, I can order your medications directly from the manufacturer. You guys, blood pressure pills, I can get 100 of them for 10 bucks. Cholesterol pills, 10 bucks. Blood sugar pills, 10 bucks. So I charge less than 2 drinks on the strip. Please realize you have options and you need to take advantage of it. I am so tired of hearing Las Vegas does not have good health care. We need to go to the airport to get health care. Enough. I have decided to start this practice to make a difference in your lives. So please give me a chance. Okay? So Vegas Direct Primary Care. My name is Dr. Ati Hakimi. The phone number, it's literally my number, you guys, 702-829-0478. Go online, check out my website, WWDBTV.com, which is davidpaulcharlie.com. And I've got at least 65 Google reviews. I have not paid any of them. So please check me out.
Welcome back, folks, to Cybersecurity Awareness TV. I'm your host, Professor Mac Jackson Jr. In this segment, we're talking about the predictions, cybersecurity predictions for 2025. Folks, I have 5 cybersecurity threat predictions for 2025. The first one, AI-powered cyber attacks. Folks, we've talked about for years here in this show, and of course, you've heard it all over the news and social media about this new thing called AI, artificial intelligence, relating to cyber attacks, folks. What this means is that in the past, nation states, organized crime, and others have used human element to attack individuals with cyber attacks by calling on the phone, sending out emails, trying to hack into people's accounts, and doing personal impersonations of organizations or businesses trying to exploit individuals to steal their money. Well, now with AI-powered artificial intelligence advances, cyber criminals now can increase the automation and enhance these attacks, including sophisticated phishing campaigns, malware distributions, and vulnerability exploitations. AI's ability, that's right, ability to analyze vast amount of data, making the attacks more targeted and harder to detect, because if the computer system of an AI won't give up, no coffee breaks, don't have to go out and call in sick, don't need to take time off, they can continue doing the campaign. And yes, it's like war games, folks, that we've heard about back in the late 80s. We're now at 2025, and this is happening. So what does this mean for you? Definitely stay tuned and stay vigilant, folks. Next, ransomware innovations. Ransomware attacks have become more and more advanced, with cyber criminals shifting towards double extortion techniques, right? This involves encrypting your data, threatening to release sensitive data unless the ransom is paid. Ransom as a service. Yes, this continues. Can you believe this, folks? Ransom as a service means you can contact a company, illicit company in darknet, and have them attack an organization for you for pay. So next, supply chain attacks. Supply chain attacks vulnerabilities are becoming very sophisticated. Attackers are increasingly target third-party vendors and infiltrating large organizations, compromising software updates and trusted services as an entry point for cyber attacks. Fourth, and this is another one that ties into AI, is the quantum computing threat. By 2025, the growing capacity of quantum computers may become a challenge to current cryptography folks, have existed for thousands of years. But with quantum computers, passwords and passphrases can be guessed or figured out or exploited faster than ever before. Cyber criminals may use this kind of exploitation technology to crack encrypted standards that are considered to be top level of today, requiring organizations to adopt a post-quantum cryptography solutions. And our fifth one, IoT, Internet of Things vulnerabilities. There's a number of data connections have expanded from home users and for businesses. And what I mean by IoT, the Internet of Things, cyber criminals are using this as a prime target for their crimes. And with many of these devices becoming lacking, that is, security measures, attackers may exploit the entry points of large networks, even small networks from home, and creating opportunities on a large scale to exploit their types of cyber attacks and data breaches. So folks, these are just some of the 5 that I have come up with, and others as well in our industry in cybersecurity. But we want all of us to stay vigilant. We must stay educated on all these particular types of attacks and work on ways that we can counteract these attacks. Come up with a plan. We always say, folks, have a fire drill and practice all these type of techniques. In today's digital world, folks, protecting your business from cyber attacks has become a crucial part more than ever before. I invite you to become of our cybersecurity community by joining my Substack page at macjacksonjr.substack.com. It's our newsletter, folks, to keep informed and keep aware of these types of cyber attacks, folks. This is the best way we can stay ahead of what's coming around the corner, and protecting our future from these type of attacks. So, folks, I recommend you all to get a hold of me. You can find me on my website at macjacksonjr.com or VandersonCyberGroup.com, folks, and learn about how to protect yourself or your family from the fastest growing crimes of the 21st century. That's all we have for you this week, folks. Definitely join me next week for another thrilling episode of Cybersecurity Awareness TV. We'll see you next week.